What if I told you that our entire modern financial system, the whole thing, is built on top of a technological glitch? A glitch that happened over 150 years ago. A fundamental break between information and value that we've just been trying to patch up ever since.
So, the big question is, why did the telegraph break our money? Let's dive in, because the answer to this question doesn't just explain our financial world today, it actually points to the massive changes that are just now starting to unfold.
Okay, so to really get how everything broke, we first have to go back to basics. We need to look at what money really is, at its most fundamental level. You see, at its core, money isn't just coins or paper bills. It's really the most widely used ledger we have to keep track of everything. Savings, transactions, you name it. It's our shared scoreboard for who owes what to whom.
For most of human history, something physical, like gold, worked perfectly as what you could call nature's ledger. It was simple. The list of who had what was updated just by who physically held the gold. Now, the really cool part about this is that no single person or group controlled it. Nature was the ultimate, incorruptible bookkeeper.
And this system worked beautifully because for centuries, information moved at the exact same speed as physical stuff, basically the speed of matter. But then, one single invention came along and changed absolutely everything.
We're talking about the telegraph. Its invention in the 1830s and then being laid across oceans in the decades after was a complete communications revolution. All of a sudden, a message could zap across the planet at nearly the speed of light. And this created a brand new problem we'd never faced before. A message, a promise to pay someone could cross the Atlantic instantly, but the actual gold to settle that promise, that still had to travel by ship, which could take weeks, sometimes even months. And that led to this fundamental break, this glitch. For the very first time in human history, a promise to pay could travel much, much faster than the actual payment itself. The transaction and the final settlement were completely torn apart.
So what do? Society couldn't just grind to a halt. We needed a workaround for this new speed gap, and the solution that popped up was incredibly efficient. But as you're about to see, it came with a huge, huge catch.
We basically just papered over the problem by creating all these layers of trusted middlemen. So you trust your local bank with your money, your bank trusts other banks through a clearinghouse, and at the very top, all the banks trust one central bank to settle the final ledger. It's really just a pyramid of IOUs.
And you know what's wild? This wasn't some hidden flaw that we only figured out with hindsight. People saw the risk right from the beginning. Back in 1875, an economist named William Stanley Jevons wrote that while this new system was, quote, incredibly efficient, it was also levered 20-to-1. He flat out warned, if this ever gets improperly run, this could be catastrophic. Talk about calling your shot, right?
But hold on a second, let's play devil's advocate here. This centralized system, for all its faults, it enabled a massive boom in global trade and finance. It kind of built the modern world. So, was this centralization really a mistake?
To get our heads around this, the source material offers a really fascinating analogy: agriculture. Think about it. The very first farmers, they often had a lower quality of life and worked way harder than their hunter-gatherer ancestors. But they willingly entered that valley of hardship so they could eventually build civilization. Well, centralized finance was kind of like that. A necessary but fragile and painful step we had to take to keep the world moving forward.
So for 150 years, we've been living in that valley of centralized, trust-based money. But recently, a new technology finally showed up that offers us a way out.
And yep, you guessed it, that technology is Bitcoin. But for a moment, let's not think of it as just a new currency. At its most fundamental level, Bitcoin is the first technology that allows for fast, final, digital settlement without needing a trusted middleman to manage the ledger.
And this is how the original problem finally gets solved. With Bitcoin, the speed of information, the transaction, and the speed of settlement are once again nearly identical. It reunites the promise with the payment, finally closing that 150-year-old gap that the telegraph created.
So the big point here isn't that this new technology is here to destroy the old system. The point is that it introduces something we have never, ever had before, a real choice.
Here's a great way to think about it, a metaphor. Before cars, if you wanted to travel long distances, you were stuck on the railroad schedule and their routes. Then cars showed up and they became this incredible symbol of freedom. You could drive yourself anywhere you wanted, anytime you wanted. Bitcoin offers a similar kind of self-sovereignty for your money.
This means you actually get to choose your own adventure. You can be a passenger and use a trusted service, which means low responsibility for you. Or you could be a driver and manage your own funds, giving you a lot more freedom. Or you could go full mechanic and take total control, which comes with high responsibility. The point is, it's not all or nothing anymore.
And this all boils down to one single, revolutionary idea. For the first time since the telegraph was invented, trust in the financial system is becoming optional, not mandatory. You no longer have to rely on that centralized pyramid of IOUs. You can actually opt out.
And that leaves us with a huge, huge question. We have spent 150 years building a world on a foundation of mandatory trust. So, when that trust finally becomes optional, what kind of world will we build? Oh, and by the way, if you want to dig deeper into the original analysis for this, you can find the source linked right in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this, follow, like, and share the podcast What Bitcoin Taught Me, and follow us on Twitter/X, Nostr, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, and now YouTube.